Hey YouTube, what's going on? Wanted to talk today about aperture size and ways to kind of dial it in. So at work, I play loud a lot, and I just do that all day. And it's really, really easy for me to get just totally blown out, very spread. When we talk about spread, we're talking about the aperture getting too wide. I've talked about this a couple other times. We want the aperture to stay a circle, and we want that circle to be kind of small. You don't want that to be super huge. And it's kind of difficult to do that, especially on a bass trombone contra when you're playing a large mouthpiece. You're playing low, you're playing loud. It's really easy to just kind of let that go, use a ton of air, and play super loud, but also very spread. And then all of a sudden, you can't get between partials very well. You can't attack stuff. You can't play high to save your life. You still have to play with that nice round aperture that's just like a nice easy size. So one thing that I've been doing to combat that is false tones. Yay! I never stop talking about false tones. But I've been kind of mixing them up. So instead of just playing false tones on one partial and just leaving it at that, I've been slurring between partials and using the false tones along with that. So for instance, here's F, E flat, and B flat. And if I can do that in a really relaxed way, a really easy way, then my chops are dialed in. It's easy. It's as easy as that. If I'm super spread, I can't bend that down nearly as far, and I definitely can't, when I go back up, hit the bent partial. It's really hard to do that when you're totally spread out. So I play a bunch of these, and I use a bunch of different partials. So I can go up. You really want to control when you flip between the partials. Don't just kind of let it happen. That's how it's going to start, but you want to eventually know when that's going to happen. And that really keeps that round, centered aperture, even when you go low. And of course, take these down low too. Use the second partial false tone. Especially on pedals. And I noticed this in many, many, many younger players and some older players. It's really easy to use a giant aperture on just even pedal B flat. And that's why it's kind of hard to play. It doesn't sound especially great. It takes way too much air to play. When I play pedal B flat, for instance, I can sustain that at a low volume for a pretty long time. The aperture is really not that open. And I'm playing through the shortest horn possible. It really shouldn't be that much air. So if you find yourself just dumping loads of air into the horn on pedal B flat, it's probably because that aperture is too open. And if it is, you won't be able to do this false tone slur. You won't land on the pedal B flat. That slur right there, which is not, completely clean, I'm not very good at it, but that slur is basically impossible. If you're too wide, the whole thing just kind of falls away and the pedal B flat is just an air ball. It doesn't work. I also like to do these on contra. They're a little harder on this because the partials, everything about this horn just punishes you more than the bass. I want to make a video about that eventually. But I like to do pretty much the same thing. It's really cool though, because when you do play this with a nice round aperture and it's nice and small, the horn sounds and plays so good. I just love how it responds. Of course, this is with my Alasky 95D. It's not mine, I'm actually borrowing it. And it plays so much better this way, especially when we get to more iffy partials like the third partial. I started double buzzing there just a little bit. That partial is very, very difficult to play, just like super centered every time. So if you do this, you kind of suss out where the partial is, how relaxed you need to be. And it's just such a good way to like dial in the chops. And I do it on bass and contra. So hopefully that gives you guys some kind of idea. I do this on all the other ones too. But hopefully that gives you some kind of idea of what to do to dial in those faces. See you guys next time.